Oh gosh, the answer is actually really complicated, and it wasn't just one thing, it was a mix of things. Overall, I think I would say insecurity, like if we're just boiling it down to one thing. But something not so great happened to me as a child. I'm not sure that I can verbalize it without getting flagged. And it caused me to have pretty severe OCD. Severe is an understatement. I felt like I was barely surviving. And I believe one of my first memories as a child was literally, I just gained consciousness and I realized that my OCD was so terrible. I just knew that I didn't think like other people. There are different types of OCD, but with what I went through, it developed moral OCD. I don't know how to explain it without triggering myself, so yeah, my OCD has since been managed, but it's just something that I've lived with my whole life. It's pretty common for kids to develop when they go through what I went through as a child, but what I went through caused me to have an early puberty. I was 9 years old, and you know what comes with puberty. You get taller than your classmates, you display, it's obvious. And that led to bullying. And that bullying turned into pretty horrible body dysmorphia. I mean, I still have it. It's really, really bad. Honestly, I can't even tell you what I look like. So my environment, along with the culture back then, it was around 2011, 2012. So I started binding when I was 12 and my breast atrophied around then. But I think the community is a whole different topic, a whole different video. But for now, I'm just describing my personal feelings rather than that side of why I transitioned. Honestly, this is gonna sound pretty weird, but I felt like I didn't deserve to be a girl. I know that sounds really strange, but I just felt so hideous and gross. And what was the point? There were so many things. I also felt like romance wasn't safe for me unless I transitioned, because for some reason I came to the conclusion that boys only like you because of your looks and nothing else. And clearly I had body dysmorphia. I thought I was a monster. So in a way, I thought like if I destroy my body and take myself out of the female dating market, then maybe one day somebody can actually like me for who I am. It's so weird. I see a lot of people, no offense to anybody, but I see a lot of comments that are like, why do leftists look that way? Why do transitioners look that way? In a non-conventional way. It's because they're doing it on purpose. They don't want to be perceived as desirable, yet they do want to be loved and accepted for who they are, but they're so insecure. I'm saying this from experience, by the way, that they believe, they don't understand that attraction is not just looks, and somebody can adore you for everything that you are. That's not why people like you or dislike you. Oh my gosh, I messed up. But that's why they put so much value into how they look, how they're perceived by others. Is this person going to view me like a man or a woman? They feel like they've lost control of how they're perceived because they were bullied. Like for myself, I was bullied for things that I couldn't control. So I sort of wanted to gain control of how I was perceived. Because if I could do that, then nobody can hurt me. And if somebody thinks I'm ugly, well, I've made myself ugly anyways. I've mutilated myself anyways. So, yeah. It's weird. Because as you're going through this, these thoughts aren't at the forefront of your mind. They're sort of subconscious. Like, you are somewhat aware of why you're doing it, but because it's like this grand cause, this, um, cure all to your insecurities, you sort of justify it like, oh no, I'm just being my true, authentic self, as they say. As for the moment that I wanted to detransition, I felt like I was constantly going through moments of wanting to detransition. But what really pushed it was, I believe I was 20 years old, and something had happened to me. Again, I can't say it. And after that had happened to me, for some reason, I started to think about my life and what I wanted in the future. And it was this weird moment. I was sitting at my gaming desk, and it was almost like my life had kind of flashed before me, and it just came flooding in. I don't know what it was. It was me as a child and everything that I wanted as a child and how I pictured myself. So I thought about my future, and my future, it was like images. I know this sounds odd, but who I was when I was a little girl, I saw myself getting married, being a woman, and wearing a dress. And it was just this crazy, overwhelming feeling of, I'm like, that's supposed to be my future. What is this future gonna bring me? Like, what, I'm gonna take testosterone, keep convincing myself that I'm a boy when I'm not a boy and I physically never can be, or live comfortably as a woman, because that's how I was born, and achieve my dream of being a mother and a wife and having my big old wedding that I always wanted. I don't know, it was so strange. It just hit me that the transition didn't make sense long term at all. It was just a performance that wouldn't lead anywhere. And then I met my ex out of respect for privacy. I won't go into that. But when I saw that it was possible for me to get a boyfriend, well, something like that, I kind of saw it as my way out. Like, oh my gosh, here's my excuse to escape, because I felt like I didn't have an excuse to escape. That sounds weird, but I felt like I obviously would be persecuted by the community, which I was. I lost all my friends. Of course, some came back, and I 100% forgive them. I don't blame anyone for that. But also, I felt like I was too far gone. Honestly, people think that this is all a lie because of how I look. Oh, you look fine. I did not look fine. I looked like a whole mess. If you told me I would have looked like this 5 years ago when I detransitioned, I would have crapped my pants right then and there. And I probably would have because of my IBS. I'm joking. I didn't develop that until later. But and then to add to that, I just felt like my family was put through so much hell because they were threatened, not by me. And also, it would have been so humiliating, like, and it kind of was, learning to be a girl again, which was so weird. It was so awkward, asking for makeup, and it was so weird. I really wish that at the time I wasn't dealing with so much, um, just a terrible, terrible situation, um, because that really was special to me. I mean, it was an accumulation of multiple things and multiple moments. It wasn't just one moment, it kind of led up to that. So, a warning though, if you are coming off testosterone, if you started as a teenager, you will be extremely vulnerable coming off. You did not properly grow at the speed that everyone else did, not mentally, not physically. So please be careful who you surround yourself with. Be careful with speaking up, especially speaking up. Many people do mean you harm.